Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is Ryder. Today's video is going to be the first in the series looking at rap label feuds. Now, in short, rap is a unique music genre in the sense that feuding between artists, groups, labels is an accepted and respected part of the genre. This makes rap unique when you compare it to other music genres. It is so important to the culture of rap that there's a dedicated subgenre called battle rapping. This is where two lyrical rappers are pitted against each other over a series of rounds. Though battle rapping is most associated with underground rap, from battle rapping came what's known in mainstream rap as feuding, where again two MCs go back and forth, but with the major difference that each MC has an established fan base. So unlike battle rapping, the main focus is their rap career. Feuding is a byproduct. So with that being the case, they've got a lot to lose. There's been so many cases in rap that rappers have been perceived to have lost a feud that their careers have never been the same again. This is why feuding is such an integral part of rap. This in turn leads rappers to link up with each other to destroy an opponent. It can get so big that labels can go against one another. Now, going along, this brings us into the topic of today's video, whereby a feud between two artists resulted in multiple labels feuding. This involved Birdman of Cash Money and Pharrell of Trak. Now, rapper and producer Pharrell is one half of the production duo, the Neptunes, alongside Chad Hugo, and they produced a single, What Happened to That Boy, off Birdman's self-titled album. The problem stems from Birdman not paying the Neptunes for the production on the single. Now, it's important to note at this point that the single featured the Clips, a group signed to Trak, but the Clips, and to a larger extent Pusha T, wouldn't become involved in the feud until around 2006, because initially the feud stayed behind closed doors, as both Pharrell and Birdman never brought their grievances on a track. Rather, Pharrell simply took the decision to never work with Birdman again. Now, by all accounts, the average person would think that would be that, and no feud would come about. But in 2006, the Clips would bring the feud onto wax. On the song Mr. Me Too, they sent subliminal shots at Cash Money signee Lil Wayne for wearing Bape, a fashion brand that they were closely associated with. Now, it's worth putting into context, at this time in 2006, Lil Wayne was one of the biggest rappers out. Now, the Clips at that time had a level of mainstream success, but they weren't on the same level as Lil Wayne. So because of this difference in mainstream success, Wayne didn't take to a track to respond to the Clips. But he did have an interview with Complex in 2006, in which he said that the Clips had to work with Birdman to get a hit. And by him wearing Bape clothing, he got the brand popular. At this point, you couldn't call it a real feud, though lines had been drawn. It was no longer just between Birdman and Pharrell. Lil Wayne had been pulled in, and so had Pusha T. So by the end of 2006, it could be chalked up as Cash Money versus Trak. But after this exchange of words, the beef seemingly died down. And in 2008, Wayne had begun working with the Neptunes, though the Clips would keep the momentum from the beef going by throwing more subliminal shots at Birdman and Lil Wayne on their 2008 mixtape, We Got It For Cheap Volume 3. This momentum would push the feud into 2010. This is the year in which the feud really took off. A number of key moves came into play. Now, Trak had started to wind down in terms of its releases, and the Clips would disband as a group. So Pusha T moved to Good Music as a solo artist. So this is the point in which Good Music is introduced into the feud. And around the same time, Cash Money had started making moves, which would later go on to become important in the overall context of the feud. Lil Wayne had been granted his own label, Young Money, in 2005, an offshoot of Cash Money, but it didn't start releasing projects commercially until 2008. So with the label starting to become a force in the rap game, it signed Canadian rapper Drake in July 2009. So at this point in 2010, Pusha T had left Trak and was now working alongside Kanye West at Good Music. And Lil Wayne was still with Cash Money, but he'd started to branch out with his own imprint, Young Money, and signing the likes of Drake and Nicki Minaj. Though these moves weren't important to the feud straight away, they would go on to enlarge and sustain the feud up until the present day. 2010 was rather quiet in terms of jabs being thrown from either side. Wayne was incarcerated for much of 2010 on a gun charge, and Pusha T actually shouted out Lil Wayne on song after he was released. And Drake was working on his debut album, Thank Me Later, and with Wayne somewhat removed from the situation, Drake started to work with his idol Kanye West. Ye directed his first ever music video, Best I Ever Had, and produced his 3-time platinum selling single, Find Your Love. Though by 2011, Drake was sending shots at everyone at Good Music. On his track, Dreams Money Can Buy, he said, "My favourite rappers either lost it or ain't alive, and they trying to bring us down. Me, Weezy and Stunner." Now this propelled Drake directly into the beef. The Clips had been one of his favourite groups as he grew up, and he directly positioned himself alongside Baby and Wayne. But Pusha wasn't the only Good Music artist that Drake went after. Now Common, who had been signed to Good Music since its earliest days, released the single Sweet in November 2011 off of his album The Dreamer / The Believer, where he went after singing rappers, and Drake took offence to this. So he replied on his featured verse on the song Stay Scheming, where he said that Common was reaching. By saying this, he was essentially saying that Common was irrelevant. But 2 days later, Common remixed the song and went gunning for Drake. Now Common is a noted wordsmith, and he's known for his back and forth with Ice Cube. And with that in mind, that's perhaps why Drake didn't respond to Common and didn't take the feud further, as this would be the extent of Common's involvement. Now, around this time, Drake also set his sights on Kanye. Now, while Drake had idolised Kanye as he came up, and Kanye had took a lot of inspiration from Drake, they had a love-hate relationship, which was driven from them both being super competitive. So Drake went on to rap on his featured verse on DJ Khaled's single, I'm On One. "I'm just feeling like the throne is for the taking. Watch me take it." Again, another subliminal bar, a way in which Drake approaches most of his feuds. But at that time it was such an important bar, as Kanye and Jay-Z had just released the Watch the Throne album, an album which had positioned them both at the forefront of rap. Now, in the space of a year, Drake had officially gone at Kanye, Pusha and Common. He would also go after a fourth rapper on the label, Big Sean. Though this back and forth is less documented, there's just been the odd subliminal shot from either side. No feature-length diss track has been released from either one. So at this point, the feud was no longer Cash Money versus Trak. It was now Cash Money, Young Money and OVO versus Trak and Good Music. And it would be Pusha T that took on the mantle for Good Music when in September 2011 he released a song, Don't F With Me. Now the song was a direct response to Drake, and the song questioned the rap persona that Drake had crafted for himself since 2009. If Pusha T is one thing, he's very loyal to his camp, so on behalf of Good Music, he took on Drake, Lil Wayne and Birdman. So in May 2012, Pusha T released Exodus 23:1, where he dissed all three rappers. Now this all stemmed from when Drake positioned himself alongside Wayne and Baby on the song Dreams Money Can Buy. If he hadn't, it would have been likely that Pusha would have left him alone. The thing with Pusha T is that he's relentless, and if you're an opponent of his, he'll plan and build to destroy your career. He doesn't just allude to what's publicly known about his opponents. He'll dig deep and destroy their personas, their characters, everything about them. And so, because the song was so hard-hitting, Young Money responded in three ways. Drake dissed him at various concerts, Lil Wayne released the song Ghoulish, and Young Money signee J Mills released the song Hearing Voices. Now these three responses didn't achieve the acclaim that Pusha's song got. Now to top it all off at this point, Kanye and Pusha released a song in July 2012 titled New God Flow, where Pusha rapped, "They say death multiplies by 3, line them all up and let's just see." And he also responded to J Mills on the song with My Song, but it was Drake, Baby and Wayne that he was specifically targeting, and this would be the case as the beef went on into 2013. Now by 2013, things started to slow down. Drake brought out a song, Tuscan Leather, in September 2013, which sent subliminal shots at many of his opponents, but it didn't directly mention Pusha T or Good Music. Now as time went on, Cash Money and Young Money fell away from the feud. Lil Wayne began to have his own problems with Cash Money, with them not releasing the Carter 5, so he started to diss his own label in 2015 on songs like his Coco remix. So with the Lil Wayne Cash Money feud in place and Birdman not responding to Pusha T on the track, it just left Drake. And at this time it wasn't just quiet on the Drake OVO front. It had been over 2 years since Pusha T had sent his shot on a track. He actually even reached out to Lil Wayne on Twitter in December 2014 saying that he should join the Good Music label. And throughout 2014, 2015 and 2016, Drake and Kanye were teasing a joint album called Wolves. So finally, it all seemed good between the two sides. But Pusha T had other ideas, and in December 2014, he released a song called Crutches, Crosses and Caskets, where he sent subliminal shots at many of his detractors, notably Drake. Now at this point it gets a bit confusing because it seems it's just Pusha going at Drake. But the same way that Pusha goes at Drake, Drake goes at Kanye, and Kanye is Pusha's boss. And Pusha is simply defending Kanye because after all, Pusha is president of good music. So as Drake and Kanye continued to beef behind the scenes, Pusha released his HGTV freestyle in October 2016, where he questioned Drake's pen game. Now, Drake was in the middle of a feud with Maybach music rapper Meek Mill, and it was Meek that brought to national attention the fact that Drake sometimes uses ghostwriters. Now, Drake at this point did get some support from Young Money. Nicki came out and tweeted in his defence. Lil Twist came out and dissed all of Good Music with the song Message to Good Music. And from Good Music's side, Kid Cudi and Kanye sent out a series of tweets where they trolled Drake over his battle with Meek Mill. Drake's response was the song Two Birds One Stone, where he went at Kid Cudi over his mental health issues, and he went at Pusha T and questioned his drug dealing past. Now by March 2018, Kanye was working on his new album, Ye, and Drake spent the best part of a month working with Kanye on his album. But again, behind closed doors, the two clashed. So on the 24th of May 2018, Pusha T went in for the kill with the song Infrared, with lines like, "Oh now it's okay to kill the baby. People looked at me crazy, like I really killed a baby. How could you even right these wrongs when you don't even write your songs?" Pusha's essentially laughing at Drake for the fact that he's still signed to Baby and has to hand him over a big chunk of money, and the fact that he doesn't write his own rhymes. This didn't sit well with Drake, so the next day he released Duppy Freestyle, where he again questioned Pusha's drug dealing past, with lines like, "Your brother said it was your cousin, then him, then you, so you don't rap what you did, you just rap what you knew. And man, you might have sold to college kids for Nike Mercedes, but you act like you sold drugs for Escobar in the 80s. Now my delivery doesn't do it justice, but what Drake is essentially doing is sunning Pusha T on the mic. And what Drake is doing is showing he's got a penchant for the mic, the way that he did against Meek Mill with Charged Up and Back to Back. Now Kanye chose to respond to Drake in his own way with the song No Mistakes off his album Ye, but Pusha took it to an all-out character assault with the song The Story of Adidon, where he attacked Drake and everything around Drake. His label, his producer 40, his mum, his dad, his baby mother, nothing was left. Now this was a big coup for Pusha to reveal that Drake had a son, as many in the rap game had gone at Drake, like Rick Ross, Diddy, Jay-Z, Meek Mill, but no one thus far had been able to give him an L. It took Pusha to go at everyone around Drake to give him his first L. For Drake later said in interviews the beef had become too personal, to the extent where he didn't want to rap anymore. And for many this is where the feud seemingly ends. Drake would go on to say in those same interviews that he had no desire to make amends with Kanye and Pusha. Pusha would go on to sit down with the Joe Budden podcast later in 2018, where he said for him the beef was over, he felt like he won. He felt like he proved his points. Lil Wayne sat down with the Drink Champs in early 2020, where he said that he didn't even know where the Pusha T beef had come from. So by 2020, it finally seems like the feud between Drake and Pusha is over. The feud that started back in 2002 between Birdman and the Neptunes. Now, apart from the interviews that Wayne, Pusha and Drake have given, no more shots have been fired from either side, apart from Drake throwing the odd subliminal diss at Kanye. This then begs the question, which side won? Now, many fans have it that Pusha beat Drake, and that the story of Adidon was more hard-hitting than Duppy Freestyle. But which side won? When we look at the side of good music, it was Pusha that carried the mantle for much of the beef. Kanye, Big Sean threw the odd subliminal here or there. Common was involved for 2 songs, but for the most part it was solely Pusha T. But when we look at the side of Cash Money and OVO, yes, Drake carried much of the beef, but he got support from Lil Wayne, Lil Twist and Jay Mills, who all released disses of their own against the other camp. So it can be said that Drake got more support from his team than Pusha got from his. Let me know who you think won in the comments. This has been Ryder, so thank you for watching today. And if you would like to see more content, why not subscribe to the channel?